And Alan, you summed it up well there in commentary. It was the game management at the end that just feels such a sucker punch for Newcastle United.
Yeah, they've done so many things right tonight, Gabby. They defended really, really well. They stopped that front three, who are excellent, as we know. They created chances, but they didn't take them. But when the big one came along, they did. And I'm thinking, just protect the game and take to Barcelona what you've got. Even when Eddie was telling Dan Burn to go forward with 4 or 5 minutes left, I was thinking, maybe not, just sit on your lead. And I don't know, I think it was pretty naive in what they were trying to do, but then Barcelona pushed forward, and of course I've got no complaints with the referee giving that penalty, because he did trip him, and Newcastle have been punished in what should have been a really, really good night, and at times they look comfortable, but they've got it all to do now next week.
Well, they have, and 1-1 is not a terrible scoreline to take back to the Nou Camp, and you've seen the vulnerabilities that Barcelona have, I guess, tonight, and that you can contain their attacking threat. So Newcastle have got to go out there with hope.
Yeah, it would have been a tad easier going over there with 1-0, because they're a very different outfit in their own stadium, as Newcastle are in our own stadium, the way they press forward, and Barcelona do that very, very well. So Newcastle have missed a huge opportunity to go over there with a 1-0 lead.
Alan, thank you so much. I feel like you've kind of had enough. Just the way you're summing the game up there, it's very deflating, isn't it, that experience?
I've gone from hot chocolate to a lager and back to hot chocolate now. So,
and that's not just your musical taste. Thank you very much, Alan. We are going to have a word with Lewis Hall, who's coming over to meet us and speak to us in just a few moments' time. But before he gets here, he's just getting mic'd up. Guys, it's one of those moments. It's context, isn't it? Everything's context. If Barcelona go ahead early on through one of the two of the chances they have in the first half, and Newcastle equalise in the dying embers of the game, you feel great hope and celebration. Go back to the Nou Camp feeling great. It does feel like a sucker punch for Newcastle.
Yeah, it does. And firstly, I thought Newcastle were outstanding. I thought tactically Eddie Howe got the tactics spot on, and Newcastle were the better team and could have won by 1 or 2 goals, but at this level, you don't take your chances, then you always leave the opposition with the opportunity to score, and Barcelona have done that.
Lewis Hall is here, who's done such a good job tonight, keeping one of the best players in the world quiet. Lewis, well done on your individual performance and the team performance. But we just said to Alan Shearer, the guys here, just what a sucker punch that feels like at the end of a game that Newcastle were in control of.
Yeah, 100%. I think if we're taking the game to them at 1-0 for the second leg, I think we're in a really good position. But yeah, I thought we were outstanding today, and I think the last goal doesn't reflect our performance really.
You created personally the most chances of any player on the pitch tonight. It was a great attacking performance overall from Newcastle.
Yeah, 100%. I think we can be really proud of the effort we put in today. They're obviously a top side, and yeah, we knew the game was going to be difficult, but yeah, like I said, we can be so proud of ourselves.
And that obviously tonight was, an execution of the tactics that Eddie Howe had put out to you, the fast start, the tempo of the team in the first 15 minutes as well. That was obviously the game plan that had been set out.
Yeah, for sure. I think whenever we play here, we want to start sharp. I think anyone who plays against us know that that's what we want to do, and I thought we did it really well today. And I felt like our energy levels and fitness levels carried on throughout the whole 90 minutes. And yeah, like I said, I think we deserve more from the game, really.
We saw you early pre-match, your interview where your dad was talking, obviously a massive Newcastle United fan. Your family tonight would have been enjoying that whole experience right until the last minute there.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, despite the result, he would have been buzzing to see me out here playing in the round of 16 and buzzing for the club. Would have been even better if we could have got the win, but is what it is, and we've just got to go on to the next game, and yeah, hopefully we can get a result there.
It felt in those last few minutes that consolidating would have been the best option, but Newcastle's instinct to keep attacking couldn't be kept down.
Yeah, I think that sums us up really. I think whenever we're on a high, we want to keep going, we want to keep pushing, and I think that shows a lot about our mentality. But yeah, I think sometimes in these moments it's easy to get carried away. And I guess there's an argument for maybe we did at the end there, trying to push for another goal, but yeah, I don't think it was necessarily the best idea. But yeah, what can we do?
Lewis, what is it like playing against Barcelona's high line? Because we saw there were moments today where you were almost prying and trying to get in. What does it feel like on the pitch when you're going up against that?
For me as a defender, I really like it because obviously it gives me that option to play loads of balls in behind. We had so much pace and attack today, and I think if you time it well, all it can take is one pass and you're through on goal. And I think we did that on a few occasions today. I feel like we could have got the timing a little bit better at times, but yeah, I think we can look back at the game and we can see how we can improve and do that when we play them away.
Just in saying that, okay, you're going to go in there and they're going to be disappointed about, you know, giving a goal away so late in the game. But you must be buoyed by the way you performed today and go in there. You guys must be full of confidence that you can actually go at Barcelona. I know it's a different proposition in their stadium, but you must feel really confident about going there and giving them a good game.
Yeah, for sure. I think if you went in our change room at the end of the game, you would have thought that we'd lost the game by how quiet it was. But yeah, like I said before, it's 1-1, it's all to play for. Obviously, going to be tough to go there and get a result, but I feel like with our team, our squad, if anyone, we could do it.
Wayne, you've played in so many of these big European nights, haven't you? I'm sure they haven't always gone to plan, so I'm sure you've got some words of wisdom for Lewis.
Yeah, no, firstly, I thought you were fantastic tonight. We were talking about it before the game, but the challenge you had ahead of you against Yamal, and I thought you were brilliant. I disagree. I think you should have went for it because 1-0 is a very good scoreline, but to go there and try and get the second goal, I think maybe you might be thinking you might need that second goal. So I think you should have went for it. And sometimes you pay the price for that. But I think it was a great performance, and you should go there with confidence after this performance tonight because I thought you were fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Well, you kept those fans who are now making a lot of noise very quiet for most of the 90 minutes, and that was the aim. And the Newcastle fans, as always, were in great voice, weren't they? And I'm sure the travelling fans next week will be there for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, as he makes his way back to the dressing room, we are going to give a little bit more time and a little bit more love, actually, because he had a great game.
Yeah, he did, and I think only second to Joe Linton. I thought Joe Linton was fantastic, both attacking and defending. But yeah, listen, we spoke, as I said then, we spoke before the game. The task he had tonight was very difficult, but I thought both defensively and going forward, Lewis Hall was brilliant. Lewis Hall was brilliant, and you see here taking the ball, driving with the ball, making the Barcelona attacker players defend, and then having the composure to play a nice pass through. So no, he can be really proud of his performance tonight because it wasn't an easy task.
He's up against one of the best we were talking about before the game. He's one of the best players in Europe, and we were a little bit worried about how he would cope with it. And he didn't just cope with it, but he took the game. He actually took the game to Lamar. And I know he scores the penalty at the end of the game, and he'll get the headlines for that back in Barcelona. But throughout the game, never really saw him at all. So Lewis Hall, I thought, was absolutely magnificent.
Were you surprised, Daniel, at how little we saw from some of those attacking players for Barcelona?
I was. I really was. And that's a credit to Newcastle for how they pressed, how they were in their tactical shape. They were dogged out there. And Lewis Hall's performance, as the gentlemen have said here, was magnificent. You know, we did talk up to Yamal before the game and said, look, Lewis Hall has a huge task ahead of him. And these are the types of performances that have the England manager looking and going, okay, well, we've seen you deal with Yamal today. And you can see his level. This is where he should be. This is the standard that he's capable of consistently. And I think for Newcastle, you know, to keep Barcelona's attack relatively quiet for the whole game, one little shimmy at the end from Olmo and you go, fair enough, you know, bit of skill, you hold your hands up and you say, top draw. But I wouldn't even be bothered about it because it's one moment of magic. But I think they were dominant during the game, to be honest. And I look at Barcelona now and I think to myself, that's not the Barcelona we anticipated or expected to see today. So credit to Newcastle, credit to Eddie Howe. Fantastic performance from the team and the tactics were perfect.
I think tonight what it's shown us again is we've seen Barcelona against Chelsea. We've seen them again tonight against Newcastle. And I think they've been poor in both games, and it shows the quality and the tempo of the Premier League and how teams in Europe struggle to deal with the tempo, especially of the Premier League.
Apart from Atletico Madrid. OK, we'll get on to that, Les. Don't you worry.
Touché.
Marks on double yellows there as well.
OK, let's get some more reaction from the Newcastle dressing room. Manager Eddie Howe is with Gabriel Clark.
Eddie's so close, and a real sense of deflation at the end, which feels tough on your team.
Yeah, really tough. I think focusing on the game itself, I thought we were outstanding. Really, really good performance against a very good team. I thought we were very good in both halves. We kept the intensity up, which is very difficult to do against them for so long in the game. And yeah, the moment at the end obviously taints that in a negative light, but I think one of our best performances.
Do you have any question marks about the penalty?
No, I think it's soft, but I think Malik makes contact, so that once the referee gives it, you know it's not going to be overturned.
You'll look at details. Did your team sort of maybe tried to go for the second? Would you have liked them to sit in a bit more in those final seconds, or was it just the way it played out?
Do you know what? I don't really remember the goal too much, so I'd have to go...
From a set piece. It came back from that set piece, I think.
Okay, yeah. I don't really remember it too much, but I think we had our shape, so there's no way that we should concede that goal. So we'll look at it, but I don't want that to override the 93 minutes beforehand where we played so well.
Were you wondering if you get that bit of quality, which obviously you did towards the end? Was that the frustration, having worked positions throughout the game?
Yeah, I think with some really good build-up play, but as you say, we got in some great positions. You just hoped that something would fall for us that was presentable. It does for Harvey. It's a brilliant play by Jacob Murphy. Yeah, I thought we played really well without opening them up to a catalogue of chances. I thought we had enough to maybe score before we did.
What has tonight told you about next week then, just in terms of what you've been able to do, which has contained this team?
Well, I think it shows we're capable, and I thought we delivered a really strong performance. So we know that we're going to have to probably give more going to their stadium. It's going to have to be a great performance from us. But I think we've shown this season that, as I've said many times before, we've gone to Paris and drawn. We're capable of doing it, but we're going to need our very, very best.
Yeah. Does Lewis Hall's performance personify all that was good about tonight?
Yeah, he was excellent, of course, against such a good player. But he gave as good as he got. He got forward and showed his technical qualities. Outstanding performance from him. He was well supported by his teammates. But yeah, he can be really pleased, as I think everyone can, really.
Yeah, you know, when you're getting so close to what would have felt like a really special win. The other side of that is the way that you haven't managed to cross the line. Do you fear a reaction, how much it might hurt the players?
That's my job.
Is that your challenge?
It's my job to try and pick them up, and I think we've unfortunately had to do that a few times this season, so I don't think it's new for us. I think in some senses the strength of character should never be in doubt. We've done it time and time again. We have a difficult Premier League game in between. The return leg, we'll focus on that now. But we'll be ready by the time it comes around. The players will be, of course, super motivated to do well.
Yeah, so there's a lot of hope still that you'll be back here for a quarter-final in the Champions League.
I think there's hope, of course there is. We believe in ourselves, we believe in our capabilities. I think we've shown that today.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
What could have been in terms of a post-match interview, the joy to the despair, really, of conceding that penalty in the dying moments. There's a bin bag coming our way. I don't know if that's some kind of metaphor, but
It is.
It is, Dan.
The referee's decision was trash, apparently.
Shall we have a little look at the incident anyway, and what led to Barcelona getting that equaliser to take back to the new camp, and Newcastle on the attack again? And you were happy with that, Wayne?
Yeah, maybe not so much from this, but from set pieces, yeah. But listen, they try and go forward, so no problem. They've got everyone behind the ball, so they're in a good position. They're not opened up, they're not, stretched. They're in a good position, and it's just a good bit of skill. Listen, this can happen, and it's a penalty. It's a clear penalty. I know Eddie said it was soft, but that is a clear penalty. But they had everyone behind the ball, so it's not as if they had 3, 4, 5 players ahead of the ball. Andy Gordon maybe could have kept hold of it beforehand, but. Yeah, it's a penalty, and it's a
Barcelona's second latest Champions League goal of all time. And interestingly, Newcastle United have conceded more goals than anybody else in the last 15 minutes in the Premier League than anyone else. So that there is a bit of a late goal kind of habit for them. That wasn't concentration, though, was it?
No, what it was I think Wayne hits the nail on the head there. They had everyone back there, and sometimes when you got too many bodies back, people don't go and address the ball early enough because they think you got the numbers back, and unfortunately he gets into the box and a smart bit of play and he gets the penalty. As a penalty, you can't argue about it. But disappointing for Newcastle in the end, because I thought they did that well that they deserved the victory here today.
Yeah, the kind of upsumming that was going on in commentary, that was the general mood, wasn't it? That actually in the overall performance, Newcastle deserved to take a victory next week.
They did. They were really, really good, and I think I was a little bit surprised, to be fair, because I did really expect more from Barcelona, and Newcastle just swallowed them up and was all over them all over the pitch. And even though the possession stats may say, okay, it was really, really close, it didn't feel that way. It felt as if Newcastle were the team threatening to score more often than not, and Barcelona was sort of keeping possession and not really creating a lot in the final third. So Eddie Howe would take a lot of confidence from that, and I think the players should as well. Just because they drew the game, you go in and it's that anticlimax, and you're thinking, oh man, like we're going there now, and just forget the negativity. You've had one moment in the game where it's gone wrong. They've capitalised on it, but you know that you can create opportunities. They've done it all night, and they can do it again.
And Harvey Barnes was the man, of course, who eventually, because they had so much good attacking play, hitting the woodwork so many times as well, got them going. So let's relive this when this place went absolutely wild, Wayne.
Yeah, it's a fantastic bit of work from Murphy, and a little 1-2 here, and then what a cross this is. Keeper, could he come for it? Possibly, maybe not, but it's a great bit of play. 1-2, and then Harvey Barnes gets a little bit lucky with his finish. It comes off his shin, which I know all about. But listen, he's in the right position. Great cross. Gets that little bit of luck he deserved, because I thought his performance was good, and everyone was dreaming here
absolutely.
at St James's.
6th goal in the Champions League this season, which equals Alan Shearer's record, and his 14th in the season. It's his best scoring season ever.
Yeah, and he's been on fire this season in terms of the goals, and that's the one area of this the pitch that Newcastle have struggled at this season. And to be fair, they created a lot of chances. The ball went across the penalty box quite a lot of times, and the thing they lacked was that cutting edge. And when Harvey got it, you thought, okay, it wasn't the cleanest strike, but it's in the back of the net and everyone's celebrating. But that's the one thing I think Eddie will look at and think next week, if we can be a bit more clinical in front of goal, because we can create the chances, it's just someone putting it in the back of the net.
I think they could have took a little bit more care with the ball around Barcelona's penalty box, and as Lewis Hall said, the timing of the pass or the weight of the pass, that next level, that next step to get to the top level, I think they just missed in the end, and that was the only thing which I think let Newcastle down tonight.
Yeah, we've been talking about timing all night. There were moments during the game where players are making deep runs, and you're thinking, why have you not played that? You know they've got a high line. You've probably spoke about it in training, and it's almost like they were trying to be a bit more methodical with it. But when we're talking about the timing, it's not just around the box, it was the whole game pretty much. There was so much spaces for them to take advantage of, and they just didn't quite do it. But that brilliance from Jacob Murphy, I really do like his style. Feels like an old-fashioned winger in how his main thing is, look, I'm going to get the ball out my feet and I'm going to get the ball into the box.
Let's have a little look, shall we, at some of those chances and where maybe next week they can improve on this, Wayne, to get the win out in Barcelona.
Yeah, well, I think when we were talking about the time of the run, so Osula makes a really good run, but then he just doesn't sort his feet out, and he goes too wide of the goal, so it takes him away from the goal rather than having that composure. And then again here, Alanga, this is such a great opportunity. Here now, the ball has to come in the box now. There's no other option he's got. That has to come in the box. And when he takes that touch, it brings the defenders closer, the goalkeeper a little bit closer. The space is smaller, and it makes it such a much more difficult pass.
I think that's the decision making we're talking about. It's knowing when to do it, and you're not going to have the same amount of time in every different competition. There's different styles, different players, and it's important to take advantage of all these opportunities. This one here was, of course, offside, but they've been knocking all game. But as we say, with this goal here, it's a fantastic bit of play, old school style, 1-2, get it in the box, and that is where you score goals in double figures, back post as the other winger, making sure you are there and getting on the end of the cross.
And for about 5 minutes, there were babies all over Newcastle being christened Harvey. But let's hear from the goal-scoring hero, Harvey Barnes, with Gabriel.
Well, Harvey, your manager's just said it's one of your better performances for the season. So the way in which that game has unfortunately just got away from you at the end must really hurt.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange feeling. We're only halfway through the tie, but I thought we played really well tonight. Kept them quiet and kept their dangerous players quiet, which was important, and had some great chances ourselves. Get ourselves ahead in the game with a good goal, and it's just the way it's ended there. It's a tough one to take, but we've got to remember we're only halfway through the tie.
Yeah, it's just a little error, isn't it, by Malik?
Yeah. No. Listen, I haven't seen it back, but it looked a bit too easy for the ball to go through, and yeah, it's like I said, it's a tough one to take. Maybe a lapse of concentration, whatever it is. But you know, in the last minute of the game, we've probably got to do better and keep that out.
It's your best goal scoring season as a professional. Did that feel like the best goal of it?
One of the most important, definitely. Yeah. No, I think it's it's been a good season. I've been finding the back of the net, and you know, it's a team where if you're confident and you get yourselves in the right positions, you're going to get chances. And I'll always back myself if I'm getting them chances. So, you know, like today when I see Murph there, I know the quality he's got, and it's get in the box and get on the end of it. And it's a great feeling to score that goal.
Yeah, and I think the feeling around the stadium at that point was deserved.
Yeah, no, like I said, I thought we played really well in the game. We controlled it well, had some good chances away from the goal. And I thought we were on top for a lot of it. And I was, when it was 0-0, I was thinking we need to capitalise here and get ahead, which we did.
And in terms of what you showed, especially defensively and with your intensity, that I suppose is now the thing you need to replicate first next week to have a chance.
Yeah, no, it's we've obviously played them twice now, so we've got a taste for what they're about. We're probably two teams that want to go and press and take the game to each other. So, it's going to be a different sort of game at their place, of course, but we know what we can do, and we know sort of when we're at our level, how well we can play. And
the way it's finished tonight, obviously you will feel deflated, but you have to go there, and the fans have to go there, don't you? Now, forgetting about all this, you can't be deflated. The season and the trophy's on the line now.
Of course, what a feeling it would have been to go there with 1-0, but it's you're still level in the tie, all to play for. So we've got to remember that. Of course, it's disappointing tonight to concede late on, but we've got to remember we're still level in the tie. We've got one game away from home to go and show what we can do and get ourselves through the tie. So we've sort of had that chat in there already. We've got to almost forget about what's happened tonight. Of course, we'll review it and see what we need to do better, but. We've got a big game at the weekend, but then it's, like I've said, it's all to play for next week, and it's an exciting game for us.
It is indeed. Thank you, Harvey.
Cheers. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, from elation in his goal-scoring exploits, Harvey Barnes then taken off to rapturous applause here because the home crowd thought they'd done it, and then the devastation watching his team concede a penalty while he was off the pitch, and that 1-1 scoreline now, which just seems like, maybe it just seems like a mountain to climb, where before it seemed like going to Barcelona with, that goal advantage, they could kind of take off as they'd left it here.
Yeah, it would have helped, and it would have given them something obviously to hold on to knowing that you have to go to Barcelona and win the game to go through is a different feeling, and they will feel a little bit of deflation, but I think what they've done tonight, they've shown that they belong, they can compete at this level. Barcelona will be looking, thinking, we weren't expecting that, so they'll know they're in for a tough game next week and just go there with confidence.
Do you go there with the same game plan, though, Les?
I think they've got to be on the front foot, because I think if you sit off of this Barcelona side, as we saw at the end there, they sat off and they'll open you up. But what he was saying there about, we got to forget about this, I think they've got to bottle some of this game. And the way that they performed and what they did in the game, they've got to bottle that and take that with them next week. Because I think if they do that and they put those players under pressure, there's no player that if you put under pressure, likes to play. You know what I mean? So that's what Newcastle have to do, and that's what they did today.
Do you do that as a group? Do you sit back and kind of analyse the good stuff as well as, on the one hand you're saying forget it, and then the other hand saying bottle it. So what is it that you've got to take, and how do you do that as a collective?
Improve on the negative and understand that you can replicate what was good.
Do you sit down and watch it together?
You do, yeah. You do your video and you'll go through it, and the manager will prepare you even before the day before the other game as well. And the clips will be rolled out, the ones that he believes that they can maybe improve on, of course, and the negatives. I don't think there were a lot of them tonight, but I think they've got to be proud of their performance and know that they can beat them. I think that they've got to go there with the spirit, knowing that they have the quality to beat Barcelona and not feel inferior. Yeah, the stadium's going to look crazy and the atmosphere is going to be wild, and they're going to be thinking, okay, cool, we're here now. I think they have to seize the moment, because there's no need for an inferiority complex. There's no need for it. They were great tonight. They can do the same.
Let's get some reaction from Barcelona, shall we? Hansi Flick, the manager, is with Gabriel Clark.
Well, Hansi, you got that goal right at the end. Did Newcastle deserve the win, however?
At the end, maybe yes, but we take this 1-1. For us, an important result. Very important result, because I think we didn't play so well with the ball, but against the ball we defend together and we stay together. So this is what I want to see from the team. And when you see we have a really young team, and we can improve a lot, and we will do that.
Yes, coming into those final few seconds, we know Barcelona pretty much always score. Was there an anxiety to Newcastle that you sort of provoked, or was there a spirit to your play that you were particularly proud of?
No, for the defense, how we defend. So we gave everything in the defense, and this was good. We defend our goal, and at the end, yeah, they deserved this goal, and we come back, and this is the good thing.
Do you think maybe Newcastle might have missed their chance this evening, but that Barcelona will almost certainly be better with your level next week?
I hope that we're better. I'm really sure. But at the end, it's a fantastic team also, Newcastle. So you saw today a lot of dynamic, a lot of speed. It's really good to see them, and also how they press. But also in Barcelona it's different. So also I think we can play much better.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Well, they'll have to play better, won't they, Wayne?
Yeah, and I think
they
will
can play better.
They will play better, of course. But he just said they defended well. I thought they were excellent defending set pieces, because Newcastle, I think, had a lot of corners, and you'd think they'd use the height and the power. But Barcelona defended really well. So it will be a different game next week, but Newcastle have to, I think, stay front-footed, try and replicate this performance away from home. And now I know that's really difficult, but I think if they can get anything like tonight's performance, they're in with a chance.
And they have the addition, one would suspect, of Anthony Gordon in that starting 11.
Yeah, let's hope so. And I think like what Rain said there is like we spoke about it quite a lot. We thought Newcastle would be a threat from corners. And I thought Barcelona handled it well. I know loads of clubs now have these specialist set-piece coaches and stuff like that, but I just felt they didn't deploy Dan Burn in the right way. I felt with his height and his ability to head the ball, he was getting in and amongst it too early, and they found it really easy to defend. I think if he takes a running jump at people, no one can stop him. So hopefully they'll work on that for next week.
He made a difference when he came on, Gordon, did you think?
Yeah, he did. I mean, it's more energy, of course, and I thought Osula was good. He was a problem. He was a handful for them today, and I do believe that we know what Gordon can bring to the table when he's on his game. He's been so good in the Champions League this season, and it'll be great to see what he can provide next week.
Livramento, of course, on his way back as well. Obviously, Trippier looked like he'd taken something of a knock, didn't he? So that would be a welcome sign for Newcastle if Livramento.
Yeah, of course. Livramento has been fantastic since he's been in the team, and it's nice to see him back, and hopefully he can get a run of games, because if so, you know, he's a great option for England. I feel he's putting himself in a really good position, so hopefully he can work his way back into fitness. But Trippier has been brilliant as well since he's come in. I think his experience, his leadership has really helped this Newcastle team. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he's fit next week, but Livramento is not a bad one to come in.
Enjoyed your trip back, Les?
I certainly did. I knew it was going to be a great atmosphere tonight, and it was. I thought the supporters got right behind the team and gave them what they needed. Unfortunately, they go away at the end, just a little bit disappointing.
And on Spurs?
What about them?
I said I was going to bring it up. I was going to have a little chat with you about that first leg.
What about them?
Any way back for them?
Well, I'm sure they'll be getting on the plane. That's the only way back for them back home. That's it. But no, 5-2. I don't see them getting back into this tie. Not with the way that they're playing.